Yo, where the cake at?
Where
Yeah,
is it?
Chef Matt, you gotta make that.
Take that, taste that.
Yeah, what's up
With the big man.
Cooking something better, no fake crap.
Cheese. Cheesy. Hey guys, what's going on? Chef Matt here. We're doing a little Cajun lime chicken thighs. Little southern action going on here. So basically it's peppers, onions, limes, cherry tomatoes. We have a nice Cajun spice and some coconut milk. Put a little honey for sweetening and it's gonna be delicious. So we got the chicken over here. I'm gonna season that in a little bit. First things first though, I think we should be prepping like our veggies. We don't have enough, we don't have a lot, and the tomatoes don't really need to be cut because they're already cleaned. So it's basically chop an onion a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect, doesn't need to be whatever. I do like a rough little chop for the onion. But it's an easy little rough chop of an onion. Right? So that's that. And now we're going into the peppers. Now, pretty simple. You just clean the outside of the pepper. That's going to go in the garbage. Pretty simple. You just give it a little chop. You want it around the same size as the onion, as far as for cooking reasons. Doesn't need to be perfect. This is all going to be kind of cooked down. Okay, since we got our onions and peppers prepped up, what I like to do with the limes is kind of like give them a little roll and a little pressure. Kind of helps release the juices. And then I just pre-cut them now for later because I already have the cutting board out. And this is kind of it. So this is what we got going here. We have our onions, we have our peppers, we have our limes and our tomatoes. And this will be added after we kind of sear the chicken and get some color on that. All right, so now we're gonna go over to the chicken. All right, so now we're gonna season our chicken with a Cajun seasoning. You know, I think you could get any Cajun seasoning you want. This is just the one I picked up, but it's basically all pretty similar. All right, so you want a Cajun seasoning and you want some salt and pepper. So you put a nice amount of salt and pepper on there. You know, be generous. And I would say same with the Cajun seasoning. You want to be generous. Again, you want this to get a nice color when you're searing it, right? And also, after you add the coconut milk, you want some of this stuff floating around, and I'll probably add a little more after I get on with that. So I have two hands, right? I use one hand to turn the chicken, and I have it on a paper bag because it actually helps the chicken drain. Now I have seasoning on both sides, and now I have to wash my hands because I touched chicken, right? And it's looking good. And that's the seasoning process. And now we'll give it a little sear. Let's do it. So the can opener works like this. It breaks the seal, and then it goes in a circle.
Don't cut your fingers.
Be careful. Okay, people, let's do it. Let's start with the searing of the chicken. So I got some avocado oil. I'm gonna put a little of that down, just so it helps the chicken not stick, as you should probably know already. And then we're gonna put this up to about medium heat, maybe a little higher. Let's get this warmed up, and then we'll start hitting the chicken on there, searing it up. All right, guys, time to sear the Cajun chicken. So I'm gonna touch it, and then I'm gonna wash my hands after. Basically, we got it seasoned, nice color on it, and that's what you want to hear. Right? Get that oil underneath it. You want to hear that sizzle. That's a sexy sound.
Smells good too.
Smells good too. Thank you, Brad. Throw that in there. Get some color, let that go for a little bit. Then we'll flip them, and then we'll start adding everything else into it. All right, let's do it. All right, so this is what you're looking for, right? It's moving off the bottom, which is nice. And then you can kind of check out the color. It looks pretty good. I'll probably let it go for another minute because I want it to get a little darker. But again, give this a little tap, and if you have some movement on the chicken, That's a good move. That means it's ready to kind of flip. But I want a little darker, so I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer. Again, I think it's ready to turn. Let's check out the color on here. Yep, that's what you want to see. Nice little brown, seasonings in the chicken, holding all the juices now. Not going anywhere, not gonna release at all. So at this point, if you have a big enough pot, right? Kind of push the chicken to the side. You want a little center spot. We're gonna start adding our veg. All right, got a little pepper and onion. Add our tomatoes. And let that sear with the chicken. Give that a few minutes, and we'll come back and check it out. It should probably cook for, I want to say, like 4 to 5 minutes, depending on like the heat on your chicken and stuff like that. But realistically, you're not really gonna, overcook the veg as long as you keep an eye on it and keep moving around. So you want it to get like a little caramelized. Then we'll hit it with the coconut milk and just let it sit for like 15, 20 minutes. And then we'll cook the chicken the rest of the way. This is a good recipe.
It is not that color that everyone likes.
Let's see, it's good looking, right?
Yeah, that's good. They say 8 almonds can cure your headache.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a certain kind of headache though. I forget what kind. Like,
Gotta look into that now. Basically, what I just did is I kind of pulled the chicken off from searing, so all the veggies can get underneath it now, and get all that flavor that was on the chicken onto the tomatoes, peppers, and onions, and now they can caramelize underneath. So I'll cook them now for a little bit. The chicken's not even touching the bottom, so you don't need to worry about it. So now I'm gonna cook the veggies down a little bit, and then we add our coconut milk, and all the flavor that was in the chicken is gonna be into the coconut milk, and then we can taste after a while and kind of figure out what else we need to add into it. Really good recipe. Something I picked up probably in the last year or two, and I probably make this for myself and a lot of my clients, like, I don't know, every couple months. It's really, really good. I suggest it. So basically what I'm doing here, right, is I'm kind of looking for the breaking down of the tomato. Like this one's kind of breaking down a little bit. So as soon as all those are kind of broken down and kind of beat down, I'm going to start adding the coconut milk. But a side note of the tomatoes in general, when you're in the store, you're looking for tomatoes, you kind of want organic, right? Because genetically modified tomatoes are basically a tomato that's... so the original genetically modified food was a tomato. And the way they did that was they took the genetics of a salmon, I believe, and they put that into genetics of a tomato so they can grow it in colder weather. So I know it's crazy, it sounds crazy, but your body doesn't recognize it as an organic tomato. So think about that when you're kind of shopping and looking for things of that nature. All right, let's get back to making some food. These are breaking down nice. All right, so I think we're ready to add the coconut milk. As you can see, the tomatoes, they're all broken down, right? They're not really plump anymore, which is kind of what you want. That means they're kind of cooked. So it's pretty simple, right? Go right in, pop that right on top. So now the chicken and everything else will cook more in the coconut milk, which is going to be incredible flavor-wise. It's going to bring a little creaminess to it. And the longer you cook it, the more you can like reduce the coconut milk and make it creamier, as creamy as you like, basically. Do a little of that. And then in about 5 minutes, I'm going to add the lime. And we'll check some flavor profiles in a little bit. I think I'll have to add a little more salt and pepper, maybe a little more Cajun seasoning, but I'm going to let this go for a little first. So just a side note, you can see it cooking right now. It's a nice simmer going on with the chicken. I like to throw one of these guys on just so you don't make a mess. But you don't want to cover it with something that's not going to let the steam out, because then there's going to be a lot more water kind of building up on it. So you want to cover it, but cover it with something that kind of lets the steam out. If you have to cover it with something that's going to totally cover it in general, just make sure you keep a little side open so the steam can get out a little bit, so you can reduce the liquid. All right, so I've cooked this for about 5 minutes. It's reducing a little bit. I have it on like a medium heat, right? I'm gonna hit it with the lime right now. It all depends on how much lime you want, and don't be afraid to throw those guys in there as well. I like a lot of lime juice, so I put 2 full limes in. And the flavor, you know, it's a nice citrus with the creaminess, with a little spice from the Cajun. You have the acid from the lime and the tomato. It's just, I'm telling you guys, this is one of the dishes, like, you know, I don't want to say don't make all my dishes, but this is definitely one of my favorite. Check it out. You can put this over pasta, you can put this over mashed potatoes, you can put this over rice, whatever you like. I like it over rice, but you can literally put this over the 3 I just told you. And you can think of something else, I'm sure, some kind of grain, but those are probably the best. The cream will soak all that grain up when you put it on top of it, so check this out. Maybe 10 more minutes, 15, and then bon appetit. So after the lime goes in there, I'm gonna add a little sweetness too, nothing crazy. Maybe like 2 tablespoons of honey. All right, that's just to kind of balance the acid and the sweet. And then while that's going on too, not to catch my camera guy off guard, I'm gonna do a little more salt. And then a little more Cajun seasoning. And that should be yummy in about 10 minutes in your tummy. So see how it's getting thicker? It's like a cream sauce now almost. Because when you cook the coconut milk, the more you cook it, the more it will break down. And it will just reduce. And now it's got that lime flavor in there while it's reducing too. I mean, I can't say it enough how much I really love this recipe. It's just so delicious, so creamy. I mean, I'm just the biggest chicken thigh fan there is, I think. I think if you're more of a breast person, then I just don't think you're right. I just don't. I think you should be a thigh guy, you know, in general. And what I'm saying is, you know, you should like the butt more than no, I'm just kidding. So yeah, basically, just, you know, cook it, reduce it a little bit. This chicken should be ready in about 5 minutes or so. And we're gonna start eating. And you guys are gonna be jealous. But you can make it yourself, and that's what you should do.
Give Matt a call if you cannot make it yourself.
All right, so we cooked this down. I shut it off. You can see it's reduced a lot more. You can see the chicken. You can see everything in it more, right? We're going to plate this. We're going to eat it, and we're going to make you all jealous. And we're going to make you make this at home. Good. Nice piece for everybody. Little sauce for everybody. This is how it's done. I think it's good we do a little smaller batch. That's what you want to look like. Look at that. That's sexy. Tomato.
I cannot wait to destroy that plate. My gosh, look at it.
All right, guys. Well, again, I have to highly suggest you guys making this one. It's really one of my favorite ones that you can make. Cajun lime, chicken thighs. Please check it out. And as always, eat right and keep moving. It's good stuff, man. When you eat what you make, that's when you know it's good.
All right. You do the test. The review. Oh, it's just cut so easily. Wow, just an explosion of flavor in your mouth. You can taste everything. A little bit of sour from the lime. It's delicious. Chef Matt, you did it again.